I have this revelation that I had last night while I was doing an episode of a podcast that I do with a good friend of mine. It's called When Miracles Speak. We go live every Tuesday. Shameless plug. But this is the revelation that I came across while we were recording. So, you know how you step out on faith and you do something and it may seem really crazy when you're doing it? Like, God told you to do something and you do it, you start to do it, but you already doubt because let's be honest, none of us are perfect. And sometimes we hear God or we think we hear God and we start doubting that we heard him, right? And then we start telling people, well, I'm going to walk out on faith and do XYZ because this is what I believe I hear God telling me, right? And then your friends, who probably are very well meaning, they're telling you, oh, that's crazy, don't do that. Or they're asking, are you sure you heard God? And now it's got you doubting. And what I was thinking about was when the disciples were on the boat and the waves were whipping and the wind was whipping, the waves were crashing, and Jesus told Peter, well, come on out here on the water. And Peter got out the boat and he started walking on water, right? My thing is, everyone focuses on Peter taking his eyes off of Jesus and losing his faith, and he starts to sink, right? But what I was thinking about, what were the disciples doing? Because they were in the boat, they're watching Peter, like they were probably like, Peter, no, don't do it, this is crazy, this is insane, you can't walk on water. They're telling him what he can't do when Jesus told him what to do. And not only that, the disciples were in the boat with the wind and the waves, so they're fearful. So they're probably in the boat yelling and screaming and shouting. I'm sure they were not sitting there quiet and peacefully as all this commotion was going on. And Peter's walking on water, right? Like, I really truly believe that the part of the reason that Peter was sinking is not just because of the wind of the waves, but he was probably listening to the disciples as they were shouting and projecting their own fear onto Peter while he's only doing what Jesus told him to do. My friends, what is it that the Lord has told you to do, but you're afraid to do because you told the wrong people, and now they're projecting their fears onto you and telling you that you cannot do it? No matter if they're being haters, no matter if they're being what they believe to be good friends, and they're just projecting their own fears onto you. No matter what it is, what is it that you were told to do, but you were already doubting if you heard from God? You were already fearful because what God told you to do really sounds crazy, because you probably don't have the means to do it. You probably don't have the resources to do it, but what you don't realize is God already has it lined up for you up ahead. You just have to be obedient and start. But what is it that you're supposed to do, but you told the wrong people? That's really what I want you to think about tonight, because again, Jesus called Peter out on the water. He didn't call the rest of the disciples. So whatever you're called to do, you were called to do it. Your friends weren't called, your family wasn't called, and that's why they don't get it. Peter was called out on the water, not the rest of the disciples.